All right. So the file handling, as I told you, it's something very similar that we are handling a file manually or like interacting with the computer directly when we are still going to handle it using the Python, right? So the only difference is since we are interacting directly, when we are interacting directly with a particular file, we will be able to do many different tasks at our will, right? But when we are doing it using a program, it's not like that. We have to tell the program one by one what to be done, right? So, and the tasks are not going to be changed. So if we want to refer a particular file, we need to open the file and we need to read or write the things accordingly. Then we have to close the file. So the same way in Python, we are going to do the same tasks, right? We should open the file and we should, when we are opening it, we have to say for which, to which particular things that we are going to do with this file, whether we are going to read it or we are going to write something into it, or we are going to do the both, right? So then we can perform the task, which is the reading or the writing or the both. Then we have to close the file. Then the file operations will be over, right? So last week we talked about how to open a file, and we discussed it is to open a particular file, we need to use the function called open, and that function is going to return us something, and that returning thing will be assigned to a particular variable, which we call the file variable or the file object, right? So this file object or the file variable can have any particular name, right? Variable එකකට දෙන්න නමක් දෙන්න පුළුවන් කොහොමද? ඒ නම් වලින්ම අපිට මේ file object එක නැත්නම් file variable එක අරගන්න පුළුවන්. So when we are opening this particular file, we use open function, and inside the open function, within inverted commas, that means as a string, we have to give what's the name of the file. Now our source file, or that means our program or our code, and the particular file is at the same location. We can just mention the file name within inverted commas. If my code is somewhere else and my file is going to be some other place, then we have to specify the particular path to access that particular file, right? So anyhow, with this kind of coding, we can open that particular file only for reading, right? But as we are aware, reading is just one need we have, right? So basically we have reading and we have the needs like reading as well as writing. So on like opening a file only for reading will be suitable for some particular scenarios, but not for all the situations, right? So in that case, we have to say to Python that we are going to open this file to write in as well, or sometimes only for writing, or sometimes write it in a special way, right? So for that, we can use the access modifiers or the file accessing mods, right? So those mods, we discuss about those, right? We generally have 4 different mods: R for reading, W for writing, X for exclusive creation, and A for append. And R, we know what is reading, right? When that is the default access mod. Like that is why when we are not mentioning any particular access mod in here in these examples, they were just open for reading, right? And even we can show it like this. So here they have used the open and the file name as a string. And here they have used W as the access mod. So W indicates writing. So if I put R instead of the W, so it indicates, okay, this is open for reading, right? If I put simple A appending, it indicates, okay, this file is open for appending. And we talked about what's the difference between the writing and the appending, right? So I'll recap that to you. When a particular file is open for reading, the file cursor, it will be at the beginning of the file, right? So if you assume that if this is the file, and let's say it has some content like this. Now, if we give R as the access modifier, this file is open, the cursor will be placed over here, right? So from the very beginning, it's going to read. And if we say write something to this particular file, first thing that happens is whatever the existing content will be erased. And then the cursor will be set to the beginning of the file to write the things from the beginning of the file, right? That is when W is used, right? And if you use A, simple A, if some content was there in the file, no harm has done to the content, and cursor will be set to the end of that content. All right. So then the final one, the exclusive creation. If we use X instead of W over here, if there is a file which has the same name, it's going to give you an error, because exclusive creation means they are creating a file exclusively. විශේෂයෙන්ම හදනවා. Right? හදලා තිබ්බොත් එයාට අනුව එක වැරදි. හදලා තියෙන බෑ ෆයිල් එකක් X පාවිච්චි කරනකොට X access mode එක පාවිච්චි කරනකොට එයා ෆයිල් එකක් හදලා ඒකේ ලියන්න පටන් ගන්නවා. Right? So those will be the 4 access modes that you have to identify or have to clarify or have to be clear with. Right? So R, that's for reading, W, that's for writing, X, that's for exclusive creation, A, that's for appending. And if we mention only these letters, only just this letter within inverted commas, it will grant that specific ability to the file. If you say R, it's only for reading. If you say W, it's only for writing. Content will be deleted. Cursor will be there at the first of the writing area. And if you put X, the file will be created. And if the file exists, it gives an error. So first you have to delete or you have to take away the file which is on the same name. So exclusive creation will create the file and will be ready to write from the beginning. And finally, the appending, the A, will place the cursor at the end of the content of the existing file and will help to write from that particular point onwards. So all these things, all these access modes having a single type of access mode. And you can use plus with these access mode, like first the access mode, then the plus sign, like R plus, like W plus, like A plus, like X plus. If you have done that thing, then that access mode will be granted with the ability which they do not have, right? So if you take R as an example, if you say R plus, R is just for reading, but R plus will help him to read as well as to write. And if you take W plus is basically for writing. And when you say W plus is there, so they will be taken for writing as well as for reading. So plus gives the capability which they does not have. So X, it is exclusive creation, it is another writing mode. So X plus will create the file, wait until it is saying something to be written. And when you use X plus, it has the ability of writing as well as the reading. A plus does the same thing. Right? A plus does the same thing. Like A is there for writing, and it's a special writing part. So at the end of the file, the cursor is placed, like you can see it on the screen. So then it is there for writing. If you say A plus, writing plus reading will be given. Okay. Is that clear, people? Yes, everyone. Is that clear? Lamai? Okay, right. Okay. So then we talk about this T, this B, and we already talk about the plus. So T is there to indicate the text mod. So by default, it is the mod. It's a particular file open as a text file. B is there to indicate or to say, to order or to open a particular file in binary mode, which sometimes we use with to open a particular image file. We can't open an image file as a text file, but we can open it as a binary file, right? Even when you have open a particular image file in binary, you will see some text or some characters are there, but you can't understand what it is, right? So those will be the access modes that you can use. So according to that, here they have given some examples. The first one, they have opened the test.txt, so they don't have the any access mode is specified there. So by default, it is open for reading, only for reading. And here it has test.txt w. This means test.txt is open only for writing. And here img.bmp, it says R plus. So that means img.bmp, the image is open for reading as well as for writing. That indicates by the plus or the R plus. Then it is open as a binary file, right? That indicates from the B, right? So below that, you have the method which we use to close a file. So we open the file, we give the file name, and we give the access mode as we want. So that particular function, the open function, will return the file to this variable called F. So from hereafter, once after you open the file, if you want to do anything to that particular file, ෆයිල් එක ඕපන් කරගත්තයින් පස්සේ ඔයාට ලියන්න හරි කියවන්න හරි ඕනේ නම් you are going to refer with this variable, which is the file variable that we create by using the open function, right? So if we want to close the file, we have to say that particular file object dot close. The closing method is the close mode. So close and 2 brackets. Right, so here at the top they have open it, right? Don't bother about this encoding equal UTF-8 thing, right? So they have open it, they haven't mentioned the access mode, so that is for reading. And then it says f.close. F.close means then the Python will refer where the f variable is referred to, or to which particular thing the variable f is referring to. So it is for text.txt. So that test.txt will be close using f.close. People, is that clear? Right. Okay. Now, today we are going to learn how to read a specific file. And you know, first we have to open the file. Once after we did the reading and the writing parts, we have to close the file. Right, so now we are going to learn how to do this reading and writing. There are several different ways. All right, so here we are going to experience that. So first, to read the file, we can use a function called read, right? Or we can tell it as a method as well. So read method or read function. So how this read function is going to work? Now, here I'm referring this particular file, which contains 3 lines. It says, this is my first file. This file contains 3 lines. All right. So I'm copying that content and I'm making a text file over here. I give the name as test.txt and I'm pasting that over here. So my text file contains the 3 lines. All right, so that is over here, and this is my program test.py. So I'm opening that from the IDLE. Right, so now what's going on, I'm going to read this particular file by using the read function. Right, so first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the file object. Here I'm using the variable x to access the test.txt, and I put capital A, capital B, right? And I'm opening this only for reading, right? So now if I say b.read, right? Then of course I have to close it after reading it. So whenever you are using a file operation, remember to open it as well as remember to close it. So if I save my code in like this, and if I run it, you will see nothing on the screen because it get open, it got read, and it was closed. So if I need to see what has been read, I need to put this readin function inside a print function. So then whatever been read will be printed, right? So I have saved it. Here I'm going to run it. Okay, now this is the output. This is my first file. This file contains 3 lines. So it read this particular test document. Okay, people, are you clear what happens with the read function? So read function will read the entire file from top to bottom. That means from the very starting point to the very end point. But if we need to see it on the monitor, it's better we call the read method, or it's better we execute the read method inside a print function. Is that clear? Okay. Now, the next segment tells you we can use the same read function to read specific characters, specific number of characters in a particular file. But remember, when you are asked to read specific number of characters, cursor will move up to that particular point only, right? So that means if you ask to read the first 4, the cursor will move, or the cursor will manage to get to the place where in between the 4th and 5th characters, like cursor will be placed after the 4th character. If you say f.read 4 again, another 4 characters will be forwarded, and then the cursor will be placed over there. Right. So likewise, we can maintain, or we can manage the number of characters that needs to be read from the by using the read function. Right. So let's test that with the test.txt. So I'm using the same coding. So here I say print b.read as a 4. Now what will happen? Test.txt will be open. So when it is being opened, now here the opening means like it's accessed by the programmer, right? Or the program. Otherwise, nothing is going to happen clearly, right? So here I'm saying b.read just 4 characters, right? So here we save it, and here we run it. Yeah, can you see? It read THIS, this only, right? So if I put it like this, and here I'll take 8. So now the test.txt will be open. So first 4 characters will be read. Then after, next 8 characters will be read. Right. So it goes with the help of the cursor. Right, so let's try this. Yeah, can you see that? They have read first 4 characters, this. Then there was a space, that is why this space is created. So 1 character is 2, 3, place 4. Then another 2, right? Then a space, then the F key, or like the letter F is there. So the latter part has read 8 characters. Neither this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Right. So likewise, we can move the cursor. We can move the cursor in any place inside the particular file and grab the detail if we want. Okay, is that clear, everyone? Right. So in the same example, they have used f.read 4, again another f.read 4, and again, then after f.read, there is no specifications. Then again f.read. Right now, I'm going to add these f.read without any values inside it. I'm going to put it like that. So I say print f.read oh, it's not the comma, it's the dot. Right, let's see what happens. Oh, yeah. My bad. I've used the variable called f and it be. Yeah, there you go. It says this is my f. That means first taking in Akurutika, first file, this file contains 3 lines. So now look at this. And look closely about this output. And I'm going to comment this, this line. Now I'm trying it again. Yeah, what's the difference between this one and this one? Yes, what's the difference between the upper one and the lower one, the programs? Yes, any suggestions? Yes, people. Make a method histanak tiyawa. This doesn't have. Yes, it is because of this b.read thing. ඒ කියන්නේ පළවෙනි කෙනාගෙන් වෙන්නේ first characters 4 කියවනවා, දෙවෙනි කෙනාගෙන් characters 8ක් කියව ගන්න පුළුවන්. තුන්වෙනි කෙනා ගාවට එනකොට කියනවා ඉන්න තැන ඉඳලා ඔක්කොම ටික කියවන්න. Right? එතකොට then you have nothing to read after that. මුලින් 4ක් කියව, ඊළඟට 8ක් කියව, ඊළඟට ඉන්න තැන ඉඳලා ඉවර වෙනකම්ම කියවන්න. Now, if we enable this print b.read again, you got nothing to read over here, right? So that will not be reflected in the answer. Meya inna nisa thamai, right? Meka danaganna එක වැදගත් වෙනවා. You will be asked this kind of questions, right? So, like they will ask like why the empty line in this output are there, right? Or what happens after we read the file once we are done with it, right? So you should have the idea. It's going to create you a specific single line with nothing inside it. Okay, so that's how the read function work. And here we are learning how to read a file using the for loop. Now this for loop is very important when it comes to the Python, right? And it's very easy, right? So as we use the range function, the what we call the a particular for variable and the index types that is dealing with the for loop. So from all these things, you can determine or you can take the idea. For is widely used for the iteration when it comes to the Python. So here they have used another variation that we can use with the for loop. That is using the file object, right? So here what they have done is for line in F, print line comma end double quotes are there. Now, what's the meaning of this? The meaning is the line variable in the for loop, the line variable will grab the things of the F object. Right now, because F is having something that that is known by only him, maybe, right? But F knows what is there in the file because F is assigned to that particular task. Then in the print statement, what they have said is like they asking you to print line. Line is the for variable in ours. Then they are specifying how the end should happen. So they say end is just a space, 2 single quotes. Right, so that's how the for loop is going to work. And if we run this for the test document that we have, here we can say for I in B. And I'm going to print just the I. Then I need to close it again. Right, so I'm saving this and I'm going to run it. Yeah. All right, let's run this and see. We ran it and we saw how the things happens. Oh, sorry. I'm getting it. I print now. Oh, what's going on? Oh, my sorry. I have taken out the I. Right. So now you can see this is my first file, and there is a space. Right. So this file again, a spare and a space, and contain 3 lines. So if you can remember earlier, we didn't have those empty lines in between. Why is that? Yes, any suggestions? Why is that? Earlier when we asked to print f.read without any characters, so it just came as the same way that you can see in the text file. But here there are extra one. Yes, yes. Any suggestions? Why extra line is there? Okay, I will help you. You have to think. I will help you. Here I'm changing. It's like this. And like this. And I'm saving it. I'm trying this again. Now that extra line is gone. I මෙහෙම මැද එකක් තියෙනවා. එතකොට මෙහෙම දැම්මම ඇයි ඒක ආවේ නැත්තේ? Yes, yes. Any suggestions? Now, how about our text document it's like this. Right. So text document has 3 lines already. So when you are given a particular file to be open and take it as a file object, when it says for I in B, that means B is taken, or like B is assigned with the content of the test.txt. So whatever they are going to do with B is going to do with the file test.txt. Right? And when it comes to the for loop, it behaves like for variable. That means this I is going to read one line after another per iteration. Right? So like now, as per our example, this is my first file is assigned to the I at the very first time. Then it is printed. Right? And then what you cannot see is the enter sign that we have used. Now the content are like line by line. So line එකක් අවසානයේදී ඊළඟ line එකට යන්න කියලා character එකක් තියෙනවා. Right? So we call it the /n. Right? So එයා කොහොමත් පේලියෙන් පේලිය කඩලා දෙනවා. This is my first file කියන දැන් text document එකේ this is my first file කියන තැනට ඇවිල්ලා අපි enter එකක් ගහලානේ මෙතනට එන්නේ. So ඒක කොහොමත් file එක read කරනකොට ඒ කියන tools ටිකත් ඔලුවට එන්න. right? ඊළඟට print කියන function එක කොහොමද තියෙන්නේ? by default අලුත් line එකකට යන්න කියන එක තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ කියලා තියෙන්නේ. right? ඒකයි මෙතන මේ අමතර හිස්තනක් ආවේ. ඒ කියන්නේ ෆයිල් එකේදීත් කියනවා මේ පේලිය වුණාම යට පේලියට යන්න. print එකෙන් කියනවා ආයෙ තව එක පේලියක් යටට යන්න. right? So that is why unwanted space are there. Okay. Is that clear, everyone? Okay. Right. So moving forward. Yes. Now, do we always need a for loop to read a particular file one by one? එකකට පස්සේ එකක් කියව ගන්න for loop එකක් අපිට ඕනෙමද? If we want, we can use the function called read line. Read line. Right? As we use here, f dot read line. Now, if I change this, by taking out these two lines and saying b dot read line. Here I'm saving, here I'm executing. Oh, nothing has happened. Why? Because I didn't put it inside the print statement. Print එකේ දැම්මොත් විතරනේ ආ කියවන එක අපිට පේන්නේ. So function f5. Yeah, can you see that? This is my first file has read. Right, so if I use two read lines, it will give me the second line as well. See, this is my first file, this file. Right, and use another one and another one. So 4 read lines. Remember, my file has only 3 lines. So I have saved it and I'm going to run it. Yeah, can you see this is my first file. This file contains 3 lines. And for the f.read line, the last line is going to indicate you an empty one. Nothingness. Right, so that is how the read line works. One particular line at a time. Right, so then there is another one called read lines. Right, lines ටික ඔක්කොම කියව ගන්න. Let's see how it works. Did I copy the wrong thing? Oh, yes. I have copied the output. Right here, I'm going to execute this. Oh, it's a syntax error, yes. Where's that? Invalid syntax. Why it is invalid syntax? Ah, yes, this bracket is not closed. Yeah, now I want you to find this. Look at the output. Look at the output. It says, this is my first file, and a /n is there. And then this file, /n is there, contain 3 lines. All right, so that means it is read line by line, and that particular line is assigned to a list. Right, so remember this pattern, people. If we use read lines, මුළු ෆයිල් එකම කියවනවා. හැබැයි ඒකේ පේලිය item එකක් වගේ convert කරලා තමයි ඒගොල්ලන්ට settle වෙන්නේ. Right, and remember about the /n's. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ text file එක දිහා බැලුවොත් you can't see the /n's. මෙයා කෙලවරේ මේ file කියන වචනෙට පස්සේ /n එකක් තියෙනවා කියන්නේ. That means you are at the next line. Okay. All right. Is that clear, everyone? Okay. Right. That's how we are going to read things into a file. Now here comes the writing things. Now, to write, we need the function called write, or the method called write. And if you are going to write something into a file, the content that you are going to put inside that file should be a string content. Right? So like a name, if it's going to be a number is going to be converted into a string. Because write method is just accepting this particular string type of data to be written into the particular file. Right? So that is important. Right? It should be always something string. Right? Okay, so you can see in the example, it says f equals open test.txt, and the access modifier is given as w. Don't bother about the part which is after that. Then it says f dot write my first line, right? So I'll show you what happens here with this slash n. Over slash n again from the idea I'm making. I'll copy this, and here I'm going to execute it. And I'll get rid of this. Now it's not test.txt that I am using. I'm going to use abc.txt. That's my file's name. And you know, there is no file like that on my desktop. Nothing called abc.txt. Now, first of all, I'll comment these things. Right? And I'll, oh no, let's do it like this. I'm taking out these slash n's over here. Here I'm saving it. I'm going to run this. So it ran very well without any problems in the code. Here I got abc.txt. Now what kind of an output should be there? How many lines it should be there? Yes, people, how many lines it should be there? Yes. What should be the output? Let's open it and see. Oh, for some reason it is not written. Hold on. Ah, yes. The reason is the file, since file is not closed, it's not been flushed. Here I am saving it again. Ah, yes, Lalindi, can be. Let's see. Here I'm opening the abc.txt. No, still not. Something went wrong. Hold on. Let me delete this. Okay, let me close it and delete it. Yeah, let me close this as well. Okay. So I'm going to run that again. I don't have a file called abc.txt for the moment, so I'm running this. Okay, they say it ran well. So here comes the abc.txt. Yeah, here comes. Can you see what has happened? So I have asked it to write my first file. This file contains 3 lines. So look at how it happens over here. My first file, it ends from here. Then it says this file ends from here, then contains 3 lines. So now you can realize how important that slash n is. Because if we put / and an n, / for these things as well. For this as well. Here I'm saving it. Now I'm going to run this. Yes, that's right, Lalimbi. Okay, it ran. Yeah, now you can see how the output was, how the output is. Right, so /n will always put a line break or take the cursor to the next line. So if you increase the number of /n's, that's going to give you many different spaces. Files can be understand only the /n file letter. A text file letter. තේරෙන්නේ /n කියන එක නා තමයි අලුත් line එකට යනත line එක break කරගන්න. Right? /n නැති වුණොත් you are going to see all the things as a scrambled one. එක දිගට එක පේලියට ලියවිච්ච එකක් තමයි ඔයා දකින්නේ. Okay. Is that clear? Everyone? Okay. So if we look into the example, it says my first file /n, this file /n/n, 2 /n's contain 3 lines /n. So if I have that, how it's going to be? My first file will be the first line. Then in the next line, this file. Then the next line will be an empty line. Then after you will see contain 3 lines. Right? Is that clear? Okay. So now we have some tasks to do. So now we only need to go through this database part, people. And then you will be having searching and sorting techniques. Then after, Python is done. Right? So before I move to the database part, we have some questions to do in our question list. Right? So I'm moving to that part. You got the question list with you. Right? So let me see. Yeah, now in this one, here's the thing. Calculate the BMI for 100 sportsmen when their height and weight is provided one at a time. So BMI is going to calculate like this. The output should be written to a file name bmi.txt after each calculation. Right? So you have to, first you have to draw the flow chart, how we are going to do this. So opening the file, closing the file is going to be processors, people. Right? And write into the file, as well as reading from the file is going to be input and an output. Reading from a file is going to be an input. Writing to the file, it's going to be an output. Okay, it's a very simple question is here in as 20th. I want you to try that. Right, so what do I need is, I need the flowchart, then I need the Python code. So first let's go through with the flowchart. So try to draw the flowchart, people. For the 20th one, this one. 5:37 is the time. I'll give how many? 5 minutes? 5:42. By 5:42, I'm going to discuss. Yes, everyone. Anyone who needs more time? Yes, Lamai. Mukatatwe, Tavela Bonida. Or can we discuss? Okay. How about others? All right. So let's. Hello, Susu. No, I'm Bobby. I'm sorry, Bobby. I'm sorry. Yes. Hello, Bobby. How are you? I'm fine. Okay. I can do some painting and some balls and some ballet as well. Okay. And some drawing. Right. Okay. And playing. So, what do you think, officer? Yes. So yeah, recently I had this tool. So I'm trying to have some drawing with this, right? So we can start, right? So our task is what? Calculate the BMI of 100 sportsmen. And then when their height and weight is provided one at a time. So there will be 100 people. We have to take their height and weight, and we have to calculate the BMI. Then we have to store it in a file called bmi.txt, right? So we start, then we can say, we can ask to take the data, right? So we can say enter height, right? Then we can say what? Enter weight, right? Then we can do the calculation, right? So the calculation says BMI equals weight divided by height into height. So I can take the exact formula over here, right? So then after, what we can do is we have get the height, we get the weight, we calculate the BMI, then we need to write that BMI into a file. So that means we are supposed to write the BMI into the file. So we can take, I told you, like writing is going to be an output. So write BMI into the file bmi.txt. Right? But when we are trying to say write this particular the BMI to this particular file, we have to open that file first, because we know without opening the file we won't be able to write or read into it, right? So that means we have to take these things down and we have to open the file at the very beginning, and it doesn't matter the place that you are going to place, but it shouldn't be something repeating. Repeat වෙන එකක් වෙන්න බෑ. මොකද repeat උනොත් වෙන්නේ නේද? මොකද වෙන්නේ? repeat උනොත් file එක හැම වෙලාවෙම open වෙනවා. Right? We don't need that. Open the file bmi.txt. Right? So first we open it. right? Then we can ask for the height, then the weight, then we can calculate the BMI, then we can write the BMI. So once we done that, that is regarding one particular person, we had to ask it for the next particular person, right? So before we ask it from the next particular person, there should be a particular assurance, or like we have to check how many candidates or how many personas that we have considered, right? Otherwise we won't be able to calculate or count 100, whether we got 100 people, whether we got 100 or not, right? So that means we need a counter. So then I'm going to place a counter saying C equals C plus 1. That gives you the counter. If I'm using this kind of a counter, I have to specify it, right? That is the rule, right? So that means I need a process saying what? C equals 0 at the first place, right? So I'm going to take these things down. I'm moving this one a little bit this side. So yes. So I start, C becomes 0, and this particular file will be open. Then I'm asking for the height, asking for the weight, calculating the BMI, writing the BMI, increasing my count by 1. Then before I'm asking the height again, I need to check whether I reach the 100 or not. So that gives me a decision, right? What is my decision should be? Is C less than or equal 100? That's going to be my question. Right? So until C is equals to 100, I can take. So when I'm taking one particular detail, my C become 1 because I'm starting C from 0. So when I'm taking the 100th one, my C will become 100. Right? Yes, Lalindi. Thank you for that. This should be changed. Neither. This is not going to be an input output. It's going to be a process, right? So it should be inside a rectangle, right? So that's how it goes. So after this, what I can do, I can ask for the another height again. So if I reach 100, I'm going to end this. Right, so my flow is going to go from start to the initialization, from initialization to open the bmi.txt. So from that to this, from the height, I'm asking for the weight, then I'm calculating the BMI, then I'm writing the BMI, then I'm increasing my count, then I'm checking whether my count is less than or equals to 100. Do we need equals to 100? Let me check. When we are given the 100th height and weight, my C will become 100. So if C less than or equal is there, it's going to repeat again. Equal does not need in here. Less than 100 is enough. Right? So if it is yes, I'm going to move to the enter height part. Yeah. People hold on a second. Yeah, so I'm moving this thing so it will be easier for me to show you what's going on. Yeah, I'm sorry, people. I'm still getting used to this thing, so there will be some delays. All right, so it seems we are done. Are we done? We start C equals to 0. We open the text file. We enter the height. We enter the weight. We calculate the BMI. We write the BMI to the bmi.txt. We increase the C by 1. We check whether it is less than 100. If it is yes, then I'm going to go again, do my iteration, right? And if it is not, yeah, people, before we end, we should do something. What it should be. And my this particular shape should be changed, people. It should be a process, not an input. Opening a file is going to be an input always. I'm sorry, process always. So we start CE is equals to 0. We open the BMI.txt. We ask for a height. We ask for a weight. BMI is calculated. BMI will be written into the BMI.txt. CE is increased by 1. We check whether it is less than 100. If it is yes, we are going to iterate. If it is no, we have to close the file, people. We should not forget that. Close the file, bmi.txt. Then we can end the session. I'm sorry, end the program, not the session. Right, so here we go. All right, is that clear, people?
So I put the flow chart කියලා දෙන්න පුළුවන්.
All right, නිර්මාණ අපි මෙතන කරන්නේ අපිට මිනිස්සු 100කගේ BMI එක ලියා ගන්න ඕනේ bmi.txt කියන ෆයිල් එකට. right, ඒක නිසා අපි කරන්නේ start කරා ෆයිල් එක ඕපන් කරනවා. ෆයිල් එක ඕපන් කරන්න නැතුව අපිට වැඩේ කරන්න බෑ. ඊට පස්සේ අපි ස්ක්‍රීන් එකෙන් ඉන්පුට් එකක් ඉල්ලනවා height එක දෙන්න කියලා. ඊට පස්සේ weight එක දෙන්න කියලා. ඊට පස්සේ මේ මෙතන වැරදි. මෙයා ඉන්පුට් එකක් නෙවෙයි මෙයා process එකක්. right, this is going to be a process, people. So let me change that. right, ඊට පස්සේ නිර්මාණ අපි කරන්නේ BMI එක calculate කරගන්නවා. BMI calculate කරගන්න එක question එකේ දීලා තියෙනවා මෙහෙමයි calculate කරගන්න ඕනේ කියලා. right, BMI එක calculate කරාම අපි ආව ලියනවා. මොකද 100 දෙනාගේම BMI එක අපේ ෆයිල් එකට ලියා ගන්න ඕනේ. So we write BMI into the file bmi.txt. ඊට පස්සේ අපි count එක එකකින් වැඩි කරනවා. මොකද count එකක් අපි තියාගන්න ඕනේ 100 දෙනෙක්ගේ විතරයි අපි details ගන්න. right, ඒතර count එක එකකින් වැඩි කරනවා. ඒතර එක්කෙනෙක්ගේ height and weight දුන්නම count එක එක වෙනවා. දෙවෙනියාගේ detail දුන්නම count එක 2 වෙනවා. තුන්වෙනියාගේ detail දුන්නම count එක 3 වෙනවා. ඒ වගේ 100 වෙනියාගේ details දුන්නම count එක 100 වෙනවා. එතනින් එහාට අපිට නැවත iterate වෙන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. ඒකයි C කියන එක්කෙනා 100ට කුඩාද කියලා අරන් තියෙනවා. ඒතර 100 වුණාම C කියන එක්කෙනා 100ට කුඩා වෙන්නේ නැහැ, 100ට සමාන වෙනවා. එතකොට no path එකේ ඇවිල්ලා ෆයිල් එක ක්ලෝස් කරලා ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එක end වෙන්න ඕනේ. මොකද අපේ ඌමනාව තියෙන්නේ අර අපි අරගන්න details ටික අරගන්න BMI ටික ෆයිල් එක ඇතුළට ලියවෙන එක විතරයි. right, ඒතර මේ C සමානයි C එකතු කිරීම එක වගේ එකක් පාවිච්චි කරන නිසා අපි ආව initialize කරගන්නවා මුලදී C බිඳුවයි කියලා. clearද?
හරි සර්.
right, okay people, you can draw it and please try to come up with the Python program for this. right, I'll give you another it's 6:08 no 5 minutes, no 10 minutes then 6:18 වෙනකන් දෙන්න. come up with a program. right, you know how to take a input from the user, right? අපිට පුළුවන් input statement එක අරගන්න. You know how to write into a file, you know how to open the file. right? You know how to do the iteration using a while or for whatever the thing, right? Then you can close the file and just end the program. So it's a simple thing, right? So try to come up with the Python program. Okay, Larendi, I received yours. Let me see. All right. Yes, Larendi, when you are yes, do a open method එක ලියනකොට you have to create the variable දුව. එතනත් f.open කියලා ලිව්වොත් f කියන කෙනාව define වෙන්නේ නැහැ කොහෙවත්. Open statement එකේ ඉන්නනේ f equals කියලා. ඔය f නම් ගන්න file object එක it's going to be f equals. Right? And since you are writing things to a file, you need to use an access mode. Right? Like W or A or X or someone. If you just mention the name of the file, it means it is open only for reading, not for writing. Right? So other than that, the yes, and again, inside the while loop door, you don't need to open the file again. You have already opened in the door. So you can write it. You can write the things. Right? And when you are writing, yeah, write person 1, person 2, හැදෙන විදිහ ඒක මම දැන් type කරනකොට මම පෙන්නන්නම්. Right? ඒක ඇච්චර ලොකුට හිතන්න දෙයක් එන්නේ නැති වෙයි. Other things are okay. Right? So go through those points. Right? It's a very good effort. All right. Others, do you need more time or can we code? Damai, do you need more time or can we code? Right. Hold on a second, people. Right, Lamai, let's code this. It's going to be like this. Right, I'll take the flow chart. Let's keep it like this. So it will be easier for us to see how the things are going to be. Yeah. Right, so first it will start and C will be equals to 0. Right, so I'm saying C is 0. Right, so then we have to open the bmi.txt. So I'm taking a particular file variable f, open, and inside the open I'm going to say bmi.txt, right, and I'm going to open it using W. Right, why I'm opening it using W? I'm going to write things into it. Right, so you can use W, or else you can use R plus, or you can use A, that is for appending. Right, much better if you can use W or R plus. Right, so I'm taking W. So I open it. Then I need to ask for the height. So it's going to be input statement. Then inside it, I have to say enter height. And whatever I'm going to take from the input statement need to be converted into an integer because I'm going to use them for a calculation. So I'll put that inside the int function. And I'm going to save this or assign this to some particular variable. So I'll take it as h. Right. So the same way, I'm going to ask for the height. I'm sorry, the weight. Right, and I'm taking that for W. I'm assigning that for W. So then I'm going to do the calculation. So BMI equals W divided by, within brackets, H multiplied by H, as the equation says. Then I'm going to write the things into the file, right? So I'm going to say f dot write, right? So I'm going to write the string that I'm going to put over here, right? So then after I'm going to increase C equals C plus 1. So this is going to be a problem. Right, and these things need to be inside the while loop because it's the iteration part. So while loop starts from here. So I need to take while my condition should be C less than 100 and a colon. Then I need to maintain the indentation. Otherwise, it's not going to happen in the way. Right, so my while will be end. So then I can f dot close. So my program is done. So when I'm writing, I'm going to write it like this. Right, so I'm going to say BMI concatenate with C plus 1 concatenating colon. Right, දැන් මට ඕනේ BMI 1 BMI 2 BMI 3 ඒ විදිහට පොතන්ට එන්න. Right, so I guess this is going to work. Let's see. C plus 1 එක comma එකකින් yeah, we'll see whether it's going to work. Right, so this is going to be the program, right? මම දැන් මෙතන 100ක් තියෙන එක මම 100ක් තිබ්බොත් මට 100 දෙනෙක්ගේ දාන්න වෙනවනේ. මම ඒක නිසා මෙතන පොඩි අගයක් ගන්නවා 3ක් කියලා. ඒතකොට 3 දෙනාගේ මම ගිහින් දන්නේ. Right, so I save it and I'm running it. So the height is asking, so I say it's 80, weight 20. Yes, f dot right that work can only concatenate here. Yes, not the string. Yes, hold on. C plus 1 කියන කෙනාව string එකක් කරලා concatenate කරන්න කියලා ගත්තා. ඒ ගැන ලොකුවට ඔයගොල්ලෝ හිතන්න එපා. මම ඒකේ output එක ලස්සන වෙන්නයි ඒක දාන්නේ. So I'll give 80. Then weight is, I'll give some assumed thing, 40, 50, 60, and 70. Yeah. So I have given 3 couples of weight and heights. So my program ends. So I'm going to the desktop. Here's my BMI txt. I double click and open. Yes. So පේනවද මගේ අවුල? BMI 1 colon එකක් ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා, BMI 2 colon ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා, BMI 3 colon ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. What is the reason? In my program I haven't මම write කරන්න කියලා තියෙන්නේ BMI කියන වචනේ C වලට එකක් එකතු කරලා තියෙන අගය ඊට පස්සේ colon එකක්. මේකට තව එකක් එකතු වෙන්න ඕනනේ. So what it's going to be? It's going to be the value of BMI. මෙතන මේ BMI කියන variable එකේ value එක එන්න ඕනේ මෙතනට. Right? And again එකක් යට එකක් මට ලියන්න ඕන නිසා /n එකක් පාවිච්චි කරනවා. Right? I'll run this again. Man random numbers ටිකක් දෙනවා ළමයි. So 3 heights, 3 weights are given. So my work is done. Let's go and check this. There you go. BMI 1 එක 0.2 කියලා රෙකෝඩ් වෙලා තියෙනවා. BMI 2 එක මෙහෙම වැලියු එකක්. BMI 3 එක මේ විදිහේ වැලියු එකක්. Right? Okay, so just copy this down, people. Right? So I'll explain about this again when we meet next time. Right? So since it is 6:32, just copy it down. Then you can leave the session. Right? So I'll meet you on next week for the very same time. ළමයි අපිට 4ට එකතු වෙන්න පුළුවන් නේද? 4ට එන එක ගැටලුවක් නෑ නේද හැමෝටම? Right. Okay, හරි. අපි එන 4ට එකතු වෙමු ළමයි. Right. කාට හරි ගැටලුවක් තියෙනවා නම් මට පොඩ්ඩක් කියන්න. මම දැන් message එකකුත් දාන්නම්. right කොහොමද අපිට Jan වල ඉඳලා yes yes people 28 මම පොඩි holiday එකක් ගන්න හිතාගෙන ඉන්නවා ඕගොල්ලන්ට school holidays තියෙන නිසා right ඒක නිසා අපි කෙලින්ම Jan 4th වලම හම්බෙමු right since it is the school holiday week yeah මම පොඩි පාසුවක් ගන්නවා කොහොමද ඒකෙදි right so we are having a holiday on next week people right so in the new year we will start discussing the database part right so yeah have a very happy new year people and the people who are having the Christmas merry Christmas and එහෙම වුණොත් ළමයි අපිට Jan වල ඉඳලා බලමු physical classes commence කරන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා if it's so we are going to start it by 5 o'clock ළමයි 5 to 7 time එක එන්නේ උඩින් O level class එකක් එන නිසා ඒක අපි online උනත් we are going to take to the same time right so get ready we'll be meeting on the 4th of January right so next week will be the year end holiday people right so have a very happy holidays people and I'll see you on 2022 let's hope and pray it's going to be a better one than this right okay so have a very good night people you can copy the program and you can leave thank you very much everyone okay Lalinti wish you the same to her wish you the same